Food addiction. Well, you know what food addiction really is, as we say the word addiction, it's really intoxication. So it's a drug. It's toxins, it's garbage, it's waste that has been backed up in the system. So it is a very tough addiction to deal with. It's actually one of the most challenging of all, because what we're doing in reality, we are producing the drugs within. We're manufacturing the drugs, because any food that we consume that the body does not recognize as food that's fit for it, then it doesn't digest, it doesn't get processed adequately, so it just sits in the body and decay, it rots, and releases a lot of toxins. These toxins permeate the cells, and once we try to withdraw from it, then what happens is that since the body doesn't have to spend so much time digesting, elimination kicks in automatically. So the elimination is really the challenge. The food comes back upstream, and as it comes upstream, then we're in a very uncomfortable position because our elimination organs are not moving them out or evacuating them as fast as they're being released from the tissues. So the body goes through this constant battle of trying to defend, trying to protect, a certain feeling, a certain energy field. So it keeps pushing the toxins back down. So it's really about coming to peace with food, coming to peace with your life, coming to peace with the body, and stop postponing the elimination confrontation. You got to face up to it. It's going to be headaches. It's going to be nausea. It may be vomiting. It may be fainting, but that's better than it getting to the point where it's arthritis, where it's cancer, or where it's a more serious warning signal. So it's about taking ownership and settle in and get ready to reverse the process. So moving on that level, then it's about liquids. We need to flush it out. So we need to keep it moving. So as long as we keep hydrated, then a lot of this is going to pass in a relatively short period of time. You don't have to be sick. It is not part of living. So allow yourself to evacuate, to empty out, to have clean cells that are going to nourish the system automatically, so disease has no place to be.
All right. So, greetings. Good to see y'all today. I hope y'all could hear that. I am trying to get back in the swing of things. So, here I am. So, welcome, welcome. I am streaming live on 3 platforms right now. So, I'm streaming live at the Psycho Priestess, it's just at the Psycho Priestess. And then I'm also streaming live on MaatSpeaks. Uh-oh. And I'm also streaming live on my Instagram, which is at the Psycho Priestess. And so if you want to join the actual conversation, because I really don't know if everybody can hear me on the Psycho Priestess channel right now. Let's see. I don't even think I actually went live on there yet. There we go. So now I'm live. All right. So yeah. So welcome. Shout out to TWP Popcorn. Welcome. I have really missed you. So okay, if you are on my Odd Speaks channel, if you are from that community, I have missed you so much. Thank you for joining me. And so I'm going to have some updates as far as my Odd Speaks goes. And then if you are on my Psycho Priestess channel, welcome as well. This is my first live on my Psycho Priestess channel. So I will put those things are all in the description, but of course I will try to put that in the chat as well. But if you follow me on Instagram, you probably seen a lot of different activities going as far as my Psycho Priestess, as far as my Speaks, as far as Generational Health Revolution, all those good things. So I don't want to keep you for too long. I know it's the middle of the day. But I just wanted to say welcome. I am so excited to be back on here doing what I love, which is, oh, my sister. Y'all don't get me emotional up here. Peace, my sis. I'm so glad to see you because I was doing so much and I was like, I need to send this to Inya, but I was doing so much. I was doing the most today, y'all. All right, so I was supposed to go live on Friday, and I did not realize that I had to do a 24-hour thing where I had to ask for the Psycho Priestess channel to go live. I don't remember doing that for my Eye Speaks, but maybe I did. I don't remember. But anyway, here we are. So I'm not going to continue to ramble, just greetings. As always, like, subscribe to the channel. Since I'm streaming on both, I'm not going to do the usual banner at the bottom, but I just want to let you know that if you're not subscribed to either channel, go ahead, get subscribed. What are you waiting for? So just a few things. Thank you so much for putting my information in the chat, sis. So a few things that when it comes to, my Aunt Speaks and at the Psycho Priestess YouTube channels, they're kind of different, but we do have holistic health. That is something that is common between the two channels. And so we are actually starting a raw reset. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. If you follow me on Instagram, or if you follow my Psycho Priestess channel, you know that I just completed last month. I completed a 21-day raw reset. And I want to kind of briefly discuss that, but I also want to discuss the one that we have. So there were people who were like, I want to do that too. Can I join? So yes, you can join. So let's talk about it first and see if this is something that you want to do, that you're ready to do, and if it's going to work within what you're trying to do and whatever your goals are. So let's jump right in. Let's discuss it. I did start with a video with Dr. Aries Latham, and if you don't know who he is, amazing, amazing. As far as in the raw, right now we're going to call it raw vegan community. We're going to talk about that word vegan some more, but because I am releasing myself from that word vegan. So, but before we continue, just as always, just make sure that you share this content. If you are part of the My Speaks community, you know it's all about building with our community. It's all about us making sure that we balance ourselves. And as we balance ourselves, then we are able to create that balance within our community, that harmony, all of that good stuff. If you follow me on Psycho Priestess, make sure that you go over to Psycho Priestess and subscribe to that channel. That channel is more around fitness. As you know, I am a fitness instructor. I'm a spin instructor. And so fitness is very important and has been a very important part of my journey into me becoming the greatest version of myself. So let's jump right into the conversation. All right. So this conversation is the truth about a raw vegan diet, right? Or should you complete a raw vegan challenge? So let's jump right into that conversation. Let's see here. All right. So one of the things that I get asked the most when it comes to raw veganism is it safe, right? A lot of people have this idea that when it comes to a raw vegan diet, that it is not safe, or even just veganism period, right? One of the things we get asked is, where do you get your protein? All of those common things that we get asked when it comes to the vegan diet, right? And so one of the things that I want to do in this conversation is kind of debunk some of those things, but also educate us on this particular type of eating and see how you can fit it in. There's never, ever a part in your life where it's wrong to get more fruits and veggies in your diet. So let's start with that. If there is a way to get more fruits and veggies in your diet, and understanding what fruit and vegetables, and especially fruits do to your body, that's just important that you understand. So whatever you can do to consume more of those foods, what I would call living foods, then that's what we want to do. All right, so let's jump into it real quick. All right, so who am I first? So why should you listen to me? Just this random person on the internet. So for those of who don't know me, like my name, right, is my icon. And so I am a holistic health guide. I'm a music and vocal educator. I'm a musician. I'm a fitness coach and instructor. I teach spin several times a week, obsessed with it. And I'm a wife of 16 years, mom of 4, and I'm a healer. I'm so many things, right? But this is kind of like, if somebody asked me who I am, this is what I would say I am, all right? And so let's talk about why these things should make you want to listen to what I'm about to say, right? So listen, as I came up with the term holistic health guide because that's exactly what I am. I am a guide. And I guide you along the path into becoming your most whole self. And in order to do this, I had to become my most whole self as well. And they say in order to become a healer, right, you need it to be healed. And we continue as long as we are on this plane of existence, right? We are healing something within us. So as a holistic health guide, I come in many forms. So if you go to Generational Health Revolution, there are so many things that I help people with as far as becoming their greatest version of themselves. One of those things is nutrition. Nutrition has been an important just part of my life. And just short story on how the becoming is I talked about this in the first book, Detox book that I wrote. And that was the 10-day transformation detox. And one of the things I talked about was me dieting ever since like 10 years old, right? And so one of the things that I know for me, that I had such a poor self-image of myself since I can remember. So I was in second grade is the first time I remember just not feeling good in my body. So for those of you who don't know, I went to a predominantly Christian, it was a Christian school, but it was a predominantly white school. So I was kind of the only Black girl in my class. So, that was something that created um, that image as well, because it's like you're different, you stand out than all of the people around you, right? So that was one thing. And so then I also remember going to the doctor. I remember my grandmother took me to the doctor because my mother was at work. And I remember the doctor saying to not to me, but to my grandmother, she needs to lose weight, she's overweight for her age. And I remember, even like, my cousin was there, he was like my brother, so he was always, he was there with us. And I remember us getting back to my grandmother's house and him being like, oh, you're fat. So since second grade, I had this image of being overweight, right? And so that traveled with me all through my years. Even now, I still deal with that self image. And so when I was in my teenage years, so when I was like 16, 17, I did lose a good bit of weight, but it was the most unhealthy way to lose weight. So I would have moments of starvation. I remember getting like baby carrots and dipping them in mustard because mustard has like no calories in it. And then I would go on these fits of like just just eating, and then I go, it's like starvation and then eating a lot, and things like that, right? Binging, right? And so I just had this unhealthy relationship with food on top of the habits that I had learned from just living with the people that I lived with, right? So going out, going to fast food, all those different kind of things. So I just had an unhealthy relationship with food. And then, just bless my wonderful husband, because I did when I got married. I call it the marriage 15, because you do gain weight when you get married, right? You have like, for all the women out there, do you get, you gain weight when you get married, right? And so I remember my aunt, she probably didn't mean anything by it, but she was just like, oh, I know you're happy because you're getting fat, right, in your marriage. And so my heaviest weight that I was, and I'm like 5'3.5", 5'4". I was like close to 230, right? And so with nutrition, and I had to start learning how to properly feed my body. And so I tell that story, and I tell that because for anybody who has struggled with weight, especially if you struggle with it a large portion of your life, or if you're just coming into it, there are people who've been skinny their whole life and then boom, they have weight from having kids or whatever. It's just important that we learn how to navigate that each stage of our life. Because I don't like to say struggle with weight, but just you have to navigate yourself to the transformation. And so I have learned through each of those stages. So that's who I am as a holistic health guide, right? And so music and vocal education, that's what my degree is in. My degree is in music. So I also have a program where it's called Finding the Truth in Your Voice. And one of those things is we do focus on nutrition a little bit in that, because in order to have a healthy voice, you do need to focus on what is going to help you have a healthy voice, right? And so as a fitness coach and instructor, of course, I talk about nutrition. People who take my classes know that I'm going to talk about, you have an opportunity to also become a part of the detoxes and the cleanses if you come to my classes, right? A wife of 16 years. I love the transformation that my husband and I have been on, because the one thing about it's very important that my family is healthy and whole, and that, I'm with my husband as long as possible, because as I have transformed myself, we have also been on this journey together unto wholeness. So I remember hearing an elder say, as you eat better, you think better, right? So one of the things that we have to understand, holistic health is about the whole body. It's about we say mind, body, and spirit, and that's so generic to me, because we really have to understand what that means. When we tell people mind, body, and spirit, we have to understand that it is about, as you think holistically, right? You are feeding your body in a way that also tells your body that this is the things that I'm going to gravitate to. These are the things that I'm going to accept into my body. And then as you do that, the thing that we call this disease or dis-ease of the body, we are able to heal those things, because those are also spiritual things. Those are also spiritual attacks, right? Think about what you feel when you grab for something that is not healthy or that is toxic to your body. Now, in this reset that we're going to do, we're going to dive deep into that, because a lot of things that we gravitate to are just emotional triggers, right? I was and still am. You know how that people say, like, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm a recovering emotional eater. And one of the things that has helped me recover from emotional eating has been doing raw resets. And so, Mama Four. So, and I'm telling you all the reasons that you should listen to me. I mean, you don't have to, but these are the reasons that I say listen to me. As a Mama Four, one of the things that I could not run away from at this point was being able to heal my son. And one of the things that is very important to understand, when it comes to, I'm not anti-medicine. I'm not anti like going to the doctor or any of those things. I think it's good to go get your blood work and do all those kind of things. And if you need it, yes. But one of the things that when you feel helpless, when you take your child to the doctor and something is going wrong or something is not right, and they say, we don't know what is wrong, we don't know how long this is going to last, and they are literally practicing on your child, and you feel helpless. And I remember that process and that journey. And I'm not going to go too deep into it because it's still like, when I still think about it, it's really a traumatic experience. But being equipped with the necessary tools so that you not only know how to heal yourself, but that you can heal those around you. So imagine being told that they can't tell you what's wrong, but then you are able to do all of the necessary things. You can go step by step, go through the process of learning how to heal those around you. That is something that money cannot buy. All right. So when I think about it and I think about what the journey that I have been on, that has not only allowed me to heal myself, but heal those that I love, that is something that just money can't buy, right? And so I'll talk about that a little more in depthly like later on the journey. I'm not going to talk about that in detail right now. But I just wanted to let you know who I am as your coach, as your health guide, Maat, right? All right, so let's continue. So here's my transformation. As you can see, there are, and I have so many pictures. Like you go to my Instagram, you can see like all of the transformations and things like that. But again, like I said, my heaviest, I was 230. I'm in the 140s right now. My lightest was 127. I did get down to 127. So as you can see, like I did lose about 100 pounds. One of the things that is remarkable was my skin. I used to always do every and any kind of thing for my skin. And I remember someone like stopping me in the store one time and was like, "What do you do for your skin?" And I felt so bad because I was like, I just eat fruits and vegetables, because I just don't do a lot to my skin like probably I should. Every once in a while I'll put some coconut oil on my face and then wash it off. But I just really, it's like water, some black soap here and there. It's just not a lot. But if you can see, I'm going to get a little close up here. As you can see, I went from, this is, you see me at 29, right? And I had like this, I always had like breakouts. I broke out all the time. 29, I was still a meat eater. And then in 35, this is where we're kind of like in the deep into our vegan journey. And then that's me like a couple months ago, right? So I am currently 38. I'll be 39 in September. So yes, I wanted to show that transformation, one, because it's very important to understand the power of plants. And we're going to get to what happens to your skin and all those different kind of things when the process. We're going to talk about the process. All right, so let's continue. So, why do people say eating primarily raw living foods are bad for your health? So, I want to get into what we're going to be calling this as we move forward. So, there is a community of people, and I'm going to do a series that have adopted the word veganism. Veganism means so many things to different people. Some people are vegan because of animals. Some people are vegan because of the lifestyle, because they want to lose weight. Some people are vegan because they can't eat certain foods, right? There's so many reasons that people are vegan, right? So I really prefer, there I usually say plant-based. I usually say that I'm plant-based. When I was first introduced, well, I'm not going to even say introduced. This was a journey for us. So we went from removing raw, I mean, sorry, we went from removing red meats from our diet first. That was the first step that we took. After that, we went pescatarian. We were pescatarian probably a few months, maybe a year. Then we had no intentions of ever going quote unquote vegan, right? Or plant based. Our intention was to just be vegetarian and remove all meat. Now, we went into extensive study before we removed meat from our diet. It wasn't just one day we woke up and said, hey, I just want to lose weight. I want to remove meat. It was extensive study of the hormones, what happens during the process, especially when it comes to how meat is produced in the United States, right? We went through all of those things before saying, hey, we're going to remove meat from our diet. And we started with like meatless Mondays and stuff like that. Then after that, um, we watched What the Health, and I've talked about this this story before. If you so you might have heard it before. Then we watched The Health. I had an addiction to cheese, y'all. Cheese was my thing. So we were vegetarian for a while, right? And so then when I watched What the Health, and he said coagulated cheese pus. I think that's what the verbiage was. That was the last day that I ate cheese. And so then we went full plant based. And so as I started studying it more, I like to say from afar. I was a student of Dr. Sabi, Dr. Africa, right? Dr. Arias Latham, also Womb Health, Queen Afua, right? I like to say that because those are the books that I really just delved into and really studied on a very intense level. And one of the things that I did not do when I was transitioning, I did not do fake meats because fake meats really didn't exist when I was transitioning. There wasn't a lot of fake meats. It was like the little Morningstar stuff. Like I think that was the only thing that existed. So when we first were, introduced, it was primarily whole foods, right? Plus, we lived in a place where we couldn't get those things. We lived in North Louisiana, so there was not a lot of vegan restaurants or anything like that. So we were making our foods, right? So why? And I say that because I want to gravitate to the word. Um, we're going to gravitate to the word living food lifestyle, right? So sometimes might say plant based, or I might say living food, because it's very important to differentiate between toxic vegan food and whole living food, right? So a lot of times when you see people like this and who who have built muscle and things like that, they're usually eating more whole foods versus the people who are eating junk food, vegan food, like Impossible Burgers. Okay. So let's look at why people say eating primarily raw living foods are bad for your health. So the number one reason is just people are just miseducated, right? We have a system, and it's very important that you understand how you are educated, why you are educated the way that you're educated, and then being able to unlearn those different things, right? So number one reason is education. Also, people, and all of this really falls under miseducation, because a lot of people say you will have nutrient deficiencies, right? So in this reset, we'll talk about how to get your nutrition, the things that you need. One of the things is like B12, right? So that would be the one thing that I would say to supplement. Now with B12, you only need you need that like once a week, right? You don't need to take B12 every single day like it is in your vitamin. So we'll talk about that more in depth if you decide to join the reset, right? And so people also say calorie insufficiency. Your calorie intake is always dependent on how much energy that you are, putting out. So the whole idea, there's a protein myth where people are telling you to take protein and up your protein, but they're telling people to up their protein who are not even active. These are people who are not even, they're not even walking every day. But then they ask people like me, they're like, well, what about protein, right? And so we'll delve into that. The one thing I'll say about protein is that it is very much achievable to be able to get your protein on peace. Peace, Derek. Thank you for joining me today. It is very much achievable to be able to get your protein from a living food lifestyle, a plant-based lifestyle, and even more so, you can definitely get it from raw food. So this particular lady that I have right here, she is a bodybuilder, and she obviously she has a trophy in her hand, right? Now, of course, there's different divisions of bodybuilders, are right, but she was able to achieve this with a living food lifestyle, a raw living food lifestyle, right? So we're going to keep going and delve into that, right? So I want you to make sure you can see this. All right. So most diseases, let's talk about diseases and dis-ease of the body. Most diseases are caused by inflammation. So the key is to find the root cause of the inflammation. I like to say what comes first, the chicken or the egg, because a lot of things people say as far as, well, people are this way because of hormonal imbalances. You have to understand, when was the hormone imbalance or the thing that caused the hormonal imbalance? When did it occur, right? So I know for me, and I'll, again, during the reset, we will dive deeper into this. So I'm not going to dive too deep into it. But I know for me, a lot of my hormonal issues that I had growing up, they were alleviated, like completely alleviated once I changed my lifestyle. And so a lot of the things that we call hormonal, and this is hereditary and all these things, they are able to be alleviated if you do the right things as far as putting the right foods and the right nutrients in your body. So I want you to be clear on what exactly is inflammation. Yes, yes, that is the recommended. Derek, thank you for putting that into the chat. So this is the body's immune system. I'm not going to read all of it, but it's our healing mechanism, right? So what happens to you when your body gets hurt, right? So let's say you fall, you twist your ankle becomes inflamed, right? And so that is your body's way of protecting itself. So what they want you to do, they might want you to put it up, sit back, relax. Don't do too much. What would the doctor say? Don't do too much on your ankle while it is swollen, while it still hurts, while it's inflamed, right? So what happens is, a lot of us are still in an inflamed, our bodies are still inflamed, um, even though we are not quote unquote hurt, right? There's no, we might call it, oh, well, there's no pain, right? So let's talk about something as simple as a headache. Something as simple as a headache it gets dismissed because we have something like whatever pain medication to take. But when we take that pain medication to get rid of a headache or get rid of pain, it is dismissing something very important by letting us know something is wrong, right? Now, you may go through a detox and you may get headaches, and that is telling you that your body is detoxing some things out of your body. But it's very important to understand when you have certain things. So if you're just it's a normal day, you're not detoxing, and your head is hurting, that is a sign of something that you need most likely to take note of, and not just put a band-aid over just because, just put a band-aid on, right? So let's look at what chronic inflammation is, right? So fat is actually considered inflammation. That is why that they will tell you that people who are at a certain weight are prone to more diseases, right? So we have autoimmune diseases, we have heart disease, stroke, cancer. Those are things that can be caused from chronic inflammation. Liver diseases, diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, all those different things, right? And then also low level of activity is another thing that can happen, right? So a lot of times people who are have chronic inflammation and they are in pain, it hurts for them to walk. It's also going to lead to physical activity, which what in turn is going to continue to add to the fact that you're not able to get that weight off of you, right? And so we have um chronic stress. Now, we have to understand that stress is also related to our food intake, right? And it can be like a relationship where it feeds the other. So as I get stressed out, I grab food that is toxic for me. As I grab that food that is toxic for me, I continue to stay in that pattern of stress, right? It's a very much a relationship that feeds one another, right? Okay, so eating foods that cause inflammation. So if you continue to eat foods that cause inflammation, you're going to continue to have inflammation, right? So we're going to get into that in a moment. So exposure to toxins, which is kind of the same thing. So you are exposed to toxins when you eat certain foods. And then we can also get into some of the foods like the GMO foods, like the foods that are being sprayed with certain pesticides. Those are also adding the toxins in your body. Using tobacco products is another way that can lead to chronic inflammation, and then regularly drinking too much alcohol. Right now, I would have to do a whole nother video on alcohol, and I'm not gonna get into that because I know like that's a touchy topic for people. But alcohol, you have to limit your alcohol intake because it also leads to chronic inflammation. You've seen the men with the big bellies, and you've seen, I mean, even women, there's women with big bellies, right? So you've seen the people with big bellies, and that is called, there's a lot of people whose livers are getting enlarged. Um, Things in your liver is so important. If you are trying to lose, especially if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to maintain, your liver is such an important organ, and we misuse our liver so much. All right, let's continue. All right, so beginning a raw lifestyle or a raw living foods lifestyle. So, one of the things that we talk about, the benefits, is one, you're detoxing your body for one, right? So there are years of things that over years that get put into your body that we're going to detox. So I want to explain that when we are doing a living foods raw lifestyle, I'm not going to sit here and be like it's butterflies and roses. My first raw fast, I was like, I tried to do 7 days. I could only get through the first 3 days. It was difficult for me, right? And this was years ago. The second time I did it, I was able to do 7. The next time I did it, I was able to do 10. Then I was able to do 30. It gets better, it gets easier. And every one of them was different, and it helped me to see things in a different way, right? So also it's going to reduce that inflammation that we just talked about. You get greater absorption of nutrients, increased energy, improved digestion, and one of the greatest benefits, and I am a testament to that, it does reduce your cravings. If you commit to this, even if you can only commit to it like once a week, you'll see that it will help you to reduce your cravings. I'm more of a chip person. I like chips, right? I delve into sweets as well, but chips is my thing. So I noticed that when I do, I'll go for the raw nuts, and I know that that will alleviate. I rarely have any cravings when I'm doing raw. All right, so let's continue. So let's see here. Okay, so what foods? Let's talk about the foods that cause inflammation. So, one of the main things that causes inflammation, we have red and processed meats. So, you have your burgers, your steaks, your bacon, your hot dogs. Y'all know all of this. Y'all know that these meats are not. good for you. You know that. Your lunch meats. If there was anything, if I could tell you one thing, and I would plead for you to stop eating, and okay, not one thing, two things. It's hot dogs and lunch meats. Those are probably pretty much the most toxic. They're just like gunk put together and, processed together and made for you to eat, and it's very toxic. So these are the things that cause inflammation, and you really would, if that's one thing that you could do today, do that. All right, so we have our refined grains such as white bread, white rice, pasta, and breakfast cereals. Our snack foods, our fried foods. Now, this is a thing in the plant, or I'm gonna say the vegan community, that a lot of people do. So they'll take the Dr. Savvy list, right? If you're know anything about Dr. Savvy, they'll take their Dr. Savvy list. And because Dr. Savvy has grapeseed oil on there and Dr. Savvy has mushrooms on there, you're like, hey, let's fry these mushrooms, right? But anything fried is still toxic. Okay. So while I do from time to time, I'll go and I'll get me some fried oyster mushrooms. Those things are still not good for you, right, y'all? It's still going to cause inflammation in your body. So Dr. Sabi did not mean for y'all to fry them mushrooms up like that. He really didn't, y'all. But it's good. It's good. All right. So also sugar sweetened beverages. So I have not had like a regular soda in forever. There are some things that we'll talk about that I do approve of um in the we'll talk about it in the reset. So there's some things I approve of that we'll talk about more in depth if you do want to join the reset. Artificial sweeteners, why you still like, don't indulge in these things. Aspartame, all that stuff. What's the other one? Splenda. Like, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Now, yes, kombucha. I'm a kombucha fan, sis. I am. I love me some kombucha, but there's only one brand of kombucha I drink. Only one brand. So we'll talk about that brand of kombucha, y'all. All right. So dairy products. Dairy products, if you don't know, most people who look like me, most people, most melanated people are lactose intolerant. Dairy products are going to make you, it's going to cause, uh, air fry. I have to, that's a very good question, because so many people ask me about air fry. I do not own an air fryer. I've heard good things and bad things about air fryers. Right now, I would say it's better. I would say it's definitely better than it like being drenched in oil, but they were talking about the coating. So I think just be careful of your air fryer. Get the top of the line air fryer. Pieces. Good to see you. Get the top of the air fryer. I mean, get the air fryer that is not coated with that I forgot what it's called. Um it's like that black coating that they put on. So just be careful of what type of air fryer you have. I have not done extensive study on it because I just don't own one. So I just haven't done really a lot of study on it. But I will. I will look into it a little bit more, because people you're probably like the third or fourth person to ask me that. All right, so refined cooking oils. That is your safflower oil, your sunflower oil. And please, anything that has canola oil in it, throw it away. Don't even eat it. Don't even eat it. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's like you just paid $10 for it. If you look at the ingredients and it has canola oil, throw it in the trash. Canola oil is so toxic. That's why all of the restaurants use it. All of the fast food restaurants use it, because it's so cheap. But just don't use it, y'all. Don't use canola oil, okay? So let's continue. So foods that have been linked to reversing inflammation. Um, Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm glad that I'm helping you with your stress levels, helping you with your cortisol. All right. So, foods that have been linked to reversing inflammation. So, no surprise. Yes, olive and avocado oil. is great. Great olive, avocado, coconut oil, and Dr. Sabi has approved grapeseed oil. Just be careful with grapeseed oil a little bit, but olive and avocado oil. Olive oil should be used like if you're going to thank you for mentioning that, because olive oil should be used to put on your like put on your salad. Like I massage my salad with oil, like my kale with oil. And olive oil is very good for that. If you're gonna try to cook with avocado oil. I know it's expensive, so that's why I say you can do grapeseed oil. Coconut oil is the same way, where you want to use it. You don't really want to cook with coconut oil, but it is a good oil to use as far as like putting on things, but it has a distinctive taste. So if you don't like that taste, just use avocado oil or grapeseed oil. All right. So these are the things here that have been, let me see here. Okay. It's as close as it gets. These are the things here that have been linked to reversing inflammation. Of course, you have your fruits, you have your nuts. Avocado is, it's great. It's great fats. It's a great food to eat. Up here, I had to learn how to like avocado. So if you start the reset with me, you'll learn the ways that I eat avocado if you're not a fan of avocado. But I have learned how to eat avocado and get past the taste. All right. And you have your healthy beans, right? We have beans, we have healthy fats, and we have leafy greens. Leafy greens are so important. So if you're not eating your leafy greens, like your kale, like your collards, your greens, just your greens, like if you're not eating those are things that need to be added ASAP if you're really on the fast track to wanting to improve your health. And I'm just going to say this real quick, because my husband he's like the scientific one, right? So he was telling me the other day, he was like, yeah, because the leafy greens, as there's a something in your stomach or your intestines, in your small intestine, that as it travels down there, it actually gives the sensation of feeling fuller if it's attached to fat, right? So let's say you have a salad, a kale salad, and you put avocado oil on there. Avocado oil alone, right, is not going to give you the feeling of fullness. But if you add those leafy greens to it, that's why if you are a person who's ever eaten a big kale salad before, you know that it has really, it's filling, right? So again, those are things that you have to understand. And there was a study I was gonna show you really quick, but I don't know if I have the time to, because I do have to go in a little bit, y'all. All right, so let's continue. So why follow a raw meal plan? And this phytochemicals. Phytochemicals are in fruits and vegetables, and they strengthen the immune system. They reduce inflammation. They prevent DNA damage, DNA repair, slowing cancer cell growth. You can Google, or I'm actually going to put the article in the description sometime today. I will try to put it in there as soon as I can, because I'm going to have to rush out in a moment. But it is from Stanford. It's a Stanford medicine article, and it really shows you the different things. This is actually what they recommend for a cancer diet. One of the things that I it just annoys me is the fact that they'll tell people what to eat once they have cancer. They'll tell them to stop eating meats. They'll tell them to up their fruits and vegetables. But if we actually told people how to prevent these things, if we told people how to prevent dis-ease in the body, then we don't have to go there. We know that medicine, pharmaceuticals, all of those things is a billion-dollar business, right? So we have to understand the prevention. Do not wait until you get sick to try to heal yourself. Do not wait until, don't wait until you start coughing, right? And then say, oh, I'm about to go reach for my ginger tea, or I'm gonna go get my elderberries, right? You have to, it's a daily process. Healing yourself is in the prevention, not in the, okay, I'm sick now I gotta take care of this because I'm sick, right? And we all do that, right? We go, and then when we get sick, our body is like, oh, you got to stop now. And now you have to put the proper nutrition in your body, right? So I'm going to put that article in there, and just phytochemicals, and you can look up what phytochemicals are on your own as well. All right. So one of the things that I love, this I have, um, first of all, Dr. Marimbani, love her. But one of the things she says, your culture is your immune system. And the reason I put this quote up is because we live in a sick culture, right? So if your culture is sick, how are you going to be, right? You are going to also be sick. And Dr. Layla Africa, he said, one of our wonderful ancestors, right? He said, you do not just use your brain to think, you use your whole body to think. So you think that you're only thinking with your brain, right? There is a connection. And one of the things that I was able to find out to help my son, to heal my son, was that gut brain connection. When you understand that, you don't think just with your brain, you think with your gut. That's why people say it. That's why people say, what's your gut feeling telling you? You cannot trust your gut if you are not putting the right foods in your gut. You cannot trust your mind if you're not putting the right foods in your body. Like you can't trust that you are talking to the right person, befriending the right people, dating the right people. You can't trust any of that if you are not putting the right foods in your body. All right. So, one thing that I want to say about this right here when it comes to your body, understand that your cells, they tend to regenerate every 7 to 10 years. Now, skin scales, they actually regenerate about every few weeks. That's why when you start adapting to a new lifestyle, your skin will start glowing and changing, and people are like, oh, you look good, right? But your actual cells in your body, that may take 7 to 10 years. That's why you'll see a person who started a plant-based lifestyle or a vegetarian lifestyle, and they may still get sick, or they might end up contracting cancer or things like that, because it just may not have gotten to their cells yet, right? Now your skeletal, it takes 15 years. So think about that. If you are 40 years old right now, you are working towards your 65-year-old body right now. This is why when you see someone that stopped these unhealthy habits, it may have helped them physically, aesthetically, but did it help them to the core? Like, did it help their cells, right? And so that's why we have to understand that it's not just about right now. It's not just about the aesthetics. It's not just about looking good. It's about your future self. What do one of the things I bothers me, what people say, they'll say things like, oh, well, I just, my grandmother or my grandfather or my auntie, they lived to be 80 years old, and they ate all of these things. And I said, but what was the quality of their health? Right? I know some people who have needed to be on medication since their 40s and 50s, right? And we have to know what sickness actually is, right? We're going to talk about the ultimate summer reset, but I want us to be very clear on what sickness actually is. You are sick if you have any type of heart disease, which is high blood pressure. That is still a sickness. Just because you can take medication for it and it relieves your symptoms does not mean that you're not sick. You are still sick if you have diabetes. You are still sick You know what I'm saying? Like, you are still sick when you contract these things, right? So just because somebody can give you a medication for it and it relieves your symptoms, does that mean that the sickness no longer is there? Because when someone gives you medication, you have to understand, y'all hear those commercials where it has all them symptoms on there, right? So you have those symptoms and then they're giving you more medication to deal with your symptoms. But you want to get to the root cause. Why am I sick in the first place? What am I doing that is causing this sickness in the first place, or preventing? Because if there is something in your family, you know it's in your family, you need to get ahead of it, right? You do not have to contract that thing. There are, like, I think a handful of diseases that they said that, you may not be you may not be able to get rid of, right? But most of these diseases that are in our community, diabetes, high blood pressure, even most of the cancers, all of that, those things they do not have to be a part of your story. Okay. So let's talk about the ultimate summer reset. What are you getting with this reset? So you're going to get accountability, right? So we're going to have a group. The group will be out today, and anybody who's already signed up for it, you'll be added to the group today. I will be going live. I think I can go live in the group. I'm pretty sure I can. We'll have discussions. You will have me walk you every step. Today, this week is the prep week, so do not think that you can't jump in. This week is the prep week. We are planning for next week. We are planning for the next 14 days. So we will talk about what that looks like. You'll get a meal guide, which will tell you, it's just suggestions on what you can eat throughout the week. On this reset, I do not want you to be hungry. You should not be hungry. Like, you should always, somebody said, well, when I eat fruit, I don't get full. Eat more fruits. And we're going to talk about the myth of fruits. There's too many fitness people out here talking about fruit is a problem. Fruit is not a problem. What the problem is maybe the meat that you're eating or the toxic foods that you're eating, but fruit is not the problem. Okay. So we'll have some recipes. And then I plan on giving $100 cash prize out, but that is only if 10 people are going to commit to this, right? We have a few people who have signed up for the challenge, but we need 10 in order to give that $100 cash prize out, okay? So if you have a friend and you say, hey, come do this reset with me, even if they only want to do 7 days, you're going to get all this stuff. Also, my 10-day transformation guide that I wrote years ago, it is what I actually did to lose 11 pounds in 10 days, right? So you'll get that. Also, it has a lot of good juices, smoothies, soups in there. So you'll also get that for free for this ultimate summer reset, all right? Okay, so the schedule is, we have prep week, then we have the 14-day reset. That's July 22nd to August 4th. And then we have the post reset, which is just you're transitioning back into how you want to eat. The goal is to always maintain a living lifestyle, though, right? You don't want to do a reset and then say, oh, okay, I'm done with my reset. I'm back to eating all these toxic foods and going to drinking every day. No, you want to maintain some type of, I'm just going to call it a living food lifestyle. Even if that means you do those things periodically, and we'll talk about that more in depth, because I do believe toxicity sometimes is just toxicity. Like, people say, oh, well, I'm just gonna go out and do this, but it's still toxicity, so we'll talk about that more. Okay. All right. So why is it $25? It's $25. And that, honestly, I feel like that's a steal, right? It's $25 because I still have to put some work. I'm going to be putting out videos. I'm going to be giving you the recipes that I have personally used. And I'm also going to be making sure that I'm constantly helping you along the journey. So that's why it's $25. You can sign up for the reset. So how do you sign up? You can go to my website, GenerationalHealthRevolution.com. I will actually put the direct link right here. One moment. If you do want to sign up for the reset, All right. And that's my email address. If you want to reach out to me, if you have any more questions, that is my email address. And then that's my social media. That's my main social media, Generational Health Revolution. If you want to follow me at the Psycho Priestess that you see right there, that is also my Instagram if you want to follow me. And that's more about fitness. Okay. All right, so that really concludes most of what I had to say. I was going to share some other things, but we'll share that throughout the week. If you want to join this reset, I promise you, you will never come back and be like, oh, I hated that I did that, right? You will always enjoy the process of doing what is right for your body. All right, I'm not going to hold you too much longer. Did not mean to go an hour, but here we are. Thank y'all for joining me today. Y'all know I have some information, some big plans for my Speaks. So if you follow me on my Speaks, get ready. We're gonna do some great things at my Speaks. If you follow me at the Psycho Priestess, go ahead and share the content and make sure that that channel grows as well. I just hope y'all know how much I truly, truly love y'all. This is so much about us being better and getting better and for future generations. Okay. So I have to go. I love y'all. I'll see you soon. Peace.